Queen Elizabeth II passed away, why Prince Charles is already king, and other key questions, constitutional questions answered. Now, the British royals have been inundated by scandals, not only by Prince Charles, who's king now, King Charles III of the UK, but also his brother Andrew, with the Epstein connections. But the Queen Elizabeth II has tried very hard to keep the family clean and together so that the monarchy would remain in Britain. Now, we know a lot of monarchies have disappeared throughout the ages, but we know that Charles has basically two strikes that, according to royal code, will keep him from, or would have kept him from, being a king. One is that he was divorced before his wife died, and the second is that he married a divorcee, which cannot allow him to be king, according to the royal code. Now, how is it that he's king? What happened? Did they do away with those ancient monarchical royal codes? The edicts of royalty? Let's also remember that the King or Queen of England is the head of the Protestant Church of England. So how can a person with these types of strikes against him be the head of the church? That's absurd. But let's go into this. This is written by Professor of British Politics and Government and founder of the Constitution Unit, UCL, Robert Hazel, on the conversation, because we have a lot of questions concerning all this. The UK is mourning Queen Elizabeth II following her death at the age of 96. Her passing raises important constitutional questions regarding how the country transitions to the reign of her son Charles. These are the key moments to look out for in the days ahead. When will Charles become king? Charles became king the moment the Queen died under the old common law rule Rex nunquam moritur, which means the king never dies. The idea is that while the sovereign may die, government must carry on. The office must therefore pass seamlessly to the heir, even if formal ceremonies have not yet been held. Those ceremonies will follow, but they are effectively only endorsed. They will endorse a succession that has already taken place. Charles does not need to be crowned to be king. Indeed, Edward VIII was never crowned. What formal procedures followed Charles? An Ascension Council is summoned as soon as practicable after the death of the monarch. The Ascension Council formally proclaims the death of one sovereign and the beginning of the reign of the next. The process of doing this incorporates two meetings. In the first part, members of the Privy Council, one of the oldest parts of government, are joined by Commonwealth High Commissioners from those countries where the new sovereign is head of state to agree and sign the proclamation declaring Charles to be the new king. The council then issues the proclamation witnessing and declaring the fact of the new sovereign's lawful assumption of the throne and announcing his regnal title of Charles III. The second meeting is between Charles and the Privy Councillors alone. Here he will make a personal declaration commemorating the late Queen and asking for the support of the nation in assuming his new role, and swears a statutory oath in support of the Church of Scotland. He will make a similar oath in support of the Church of England at his coronation. What happens in Parliament? Parliament meets as quickly as possible after the death of a sovereign so that parliamentarians can take their oaths of allegiance to the new sovereign. Such an oath is required of peers in the House of Lords and is specified in their standing orders. MPs in the House of Commons, on the other hand, are not formally required to swear an oath to the new monarch because they have effectively already done so. Their oath is to, quote, bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, her heirs and successors, end quote, which by definition covers multiple sovereigns. However, it is custom for them to swear an oath to the new monarch Parliament will then mourn the death of the Queen in debates led by the Prime Minister. When can we expect Charles to be crowned? The coronation is unlikely to take place until some months after the Queen's death. The ceremony will take place in London's Westminster Abbey and is followed by a procession and probably also an appearance of the royal family on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. The coronation is an Anglican and Eucharistic service and is presided over by the Archbishop of Canterbury, the most senior bishop in the Church of England, but we can expect to see space made for other religions. This happened at Prince Harry's wedding and has been practiced for some years at Westminster Abbey annual Commonwealth Day service. People from different faiths may be invited to give readings. Religious leaders other than Anglicans are likely to be given prominent seats in the Abbey. The guest list is ultimately down to the government, which also pays for the ceremony. Will Camilla become queen? The law states that the spouse of a king automatically becomes queen, but there had been some doubt on this matter following Charles' marriage to Camilla in 2005. At the time, it was decided that she would become princess consort rather than queen when Charles became king. That's because she's divorced. However, there has subsequently been a change of plan, and we now know that Camilla will indeed become queen. Queen Elizabeth confirmed as much earlier this year. So I guess they've changed the code of ethics for the royals of Britain. I guess it's all right for the king or princes to divorce and then marry divorcees and God knows what, become the heads of state of the head of the Protestant Church of England and Scotland, and that to me is really bizarre. To me, it's really bizarre. How can a person that has done all these things become the head of the church? Anyway, this is On the Conversation by Robert Hazel, Professor of British Politics and Government and founder of Constitution Unit UCL. He doesn't talk about the fact that the code of ethics or morality of the British monarchs has changed, unfortunately. I expected that in this article. He didn't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.